Hey everyone, I'm back with another Ableton Move video, and that is for a reason. Because I got a few comments on my last two videos I did about the Ableton Move, and some of you were asking, like, can you show us a little bit more about how the Move works? Because that was a comment on the Digitakt and Move video, and this guy said, I know about the Digitakt, I use it all the time, but I don't know the Move, and can you show us how the Move works? And that is what I do today. But this time I haven't paired it with the Digitakt again, because I already did that. And in this example, I paired the Move with the Behringer Edge over here, which is a pretty nice couple, I must say, because the Edge with its sequencer and pitching capabilities and stuff like that, it adds quite a good load of analog goodness to it, to the quite digital feeling Move, which is in a good way because the workflow on the Move is really great. But it is a digital device, as you might know, and combining it with a fully analog device, which has a great sequencer, which is really fun to play with, is a really great couple, I have to say. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing today. But before I start, I have to mention one thing. In the last video, I introduced my new sample pack, which is my first sample pack, and it is free. So I put a link in the description for you to, if you want to download it for free. Also, it's on my Gumroad page. But although it is free, some of you were so kind and so great and so awesome that they spent money on buying that, although it is free. Grabbing it for free is totally fine. I uploaded it for free for a reason, so you guys can grab that and play with this. It's nothing special, it's just my bread and butter drum sounds. But that some of you were so awesome to actually spend money on something which is free, I don't have any words for that. So that's much appreciated, and I can't thank you enough. Big thumbs up and a big hug to you guys. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, to show you how the Move works, and in case you don't know anything about it, I will start with a rough basics. And yeah, in this case, the Move is set to MIDI master. So if I hit play here, the Edge will start to play also. Edge's audio comes from the phone's output and goes into the audio in of the Move. MIDI-wise, I have it connected with a simple, like a printer USB cable from USB-A to USB-B. And then the audio out goes into my audio interface, and yeah, that's it. So if I hit play, you see the sequencer of the Edge is also running. Okay, so in case you didn't know anything about the Move, you have 4 tracks, and each of these tracks can be either a drum rack, a melodic sample, or some kind of a synthesizer. And if you load a new set, an empty set, the Move will automatically load a random set of drum racks and synthesizer patches to it, which you can then change for yourself. Okay, so you can have on each track whatever you want. You can have 4 drum racks, you can have 4 bass synthesizers, you can have 4 melodic samples, you can do whatever you want. For this example, I want to show you how you can record something that goes into the audio in this case the Behringer Edge, and combine it with drum samples on track 1 and maybe 2 other synthesizers from the Move, which are, I think, the Drift. Maybe it's kind of a stripped down version, but the Drift is in there. I think the Melt is also in there, and I think the wavetable is in there. So you can play with it standalone without having to connect it to your computer. But I think you already know that stuff because other YouTubers talked about that a lot already, and also I talked about that a lot. So let's try to create something here. Okay, let's start with the settings. If you press these 3 dots here, you can see that the underline here will light up, and these are your settings. Number 1 is the set overview. A set is like in Ableton, an Ableton Live set, you could say. Like in other devices, this might be called project. So you have this amount of projects in the Move, and you can send them over to your computer and then open it in Ableton with no problem at all, no cable at all. You can just connect it via Wi-Fi and then open in your browser the move.local. This will bring you to the Move Manager, and then you can swap these projects or sets, samples, presets, whatever you want. Next button is the Settings tab. Here is your battery, your Wi-Fi. You can make an update. Ableton Cloud is on at the moment. You can control live with the Move. That's pretty nice. Ableton Live controller, I must say, with a with the touch sensitive buttons, knobs, and the little display over here. The Move is a really great controller for Ableton Live. You can use Link. In case you haven't heard of Link, with Link you can, yeah, as the name suggests, link other devices that also got Link, and then you can MIDI pair them and sync them without the use of any cable, as long as both of these devices are in the same Wi-Fi network. And that works really great, I must say, without any latency or something. Ableton Link is just awesome. Here you can set your MIDI sync in or out. You can either select USB-C audio, or you can select line in. And here you can go to the Move Manager, which I talked about before. And yeah, advanced stuff. You can do a factory reset and stuff. Okay, and here you can set the brightness low or high. The next button, here you can set your quantize, your step grid, your count in, and auto load on or off. The next button is free. I'm curious about what they will fit in here. This one is the tempo. Here you can set your metronome to on or off. Here you can set your groove. I will go with 25%. The next button is also free. Here, that's a pretty crucial setting, because here you can set your device to chromatic or in key. You can set your scale. I have it to C minor, and you can select fourth. So with this setting, if you ever played a push before, or like a launch pad or something like that, with the shape of these three fingers, you can play a triad chord. Before the latest, or I think before the 1.4 update, you didn't have this fourth layout. That was a really weird situation with playing chords, and you have to learn a new shape of your fingers, which was annoying, but I'm really glad that they introduced the fourth layout with a, I think, 1.4 update. So now you can play the Move like the push with the shape of these three fingers. So then we have full velocity on or off. I will leave it on for now. And that's it. You can see all these buttons are free for awesome stuff from the Ableton crew to add in here with further updates. So I'm really curious what they will put in here. These were the functions of the settings, and now we can go on. With this button, if you press this, you go to the session mode. And this is, you can imagine, like Ableton, but it's vertical now. It's horizontal now. In Ableton it is vertical, so you have your tracks lined up from left to right, from up to down. And in this view, you have your 4 tracks in a horizontal view. But it's the same like in Ableton, only that Ableton goes from up to down and the Move goes from left to right. So these are your clips, or your patterns, you might say, and you can duplicate or copy them and go from here to here. So you have 8 different clips or patterns in one project at the moment. Yeah, also good to know the difference between track effects and pad effects, and the difference between track effects and the main effects. So that was another thing a viewer commented on the last video, that you can actually go to the session view, and these effects are the master effects. So in this case, I have set the first master effect to an auto filter, and now I can, if I play a drum loop here, and I go to the session mode, and now I'm in the auto filter. I have an auto filter on the main bus. That's quite nice. I didn't know that before, so thanks for commenting that. And yeah, that's the difference between the track effects and the master effects. And on the track effects, you have to dial with this big knob here to the last effect in the chain, which is a saturator and saturator send. I'm on the drum track right now, and if I want to have an auto filter on only the drum track, I have to select this, go to the last effect, and go to the auto filter. I select default filter. I select a high pass, add a little bit of resonance. And now I have the auto filter only on the drum track. So that's the difference. You can choose between track effects and main effects. Regarding the effects per track and how you can navigate to them. So if you go with a big knob here so that you are on the very left icon over here. Here you can select a different set of sounds, or you can select another instrument. So here you would change from a drum rack to a melodic sample or to a synthesizer and stuff like that. So if you go one point further, then you can select a sample per pad. So if I want to change this bass drum, I select this icon and hit it, and then I can select a user sample or any other sample I would like to have on this pad. So now there are the effects. Effect slot number 1 is a pad effect. So here, if I select this, for example, I have the saturator send, and this is per pad. So now you can change the settings for the pad effect. And here you can see saturator pad 12. So any effect I might load in here, either a delay, reverb, saturator in this case, I can raise for only this pad. And that is a quite nice addition in case you load other samples into a drum rack, not only drum samples, but maybe pre-recorded stuff or I don't know, whatever. You can slam a reverb or a delay on just one pad, not only on the whole track. That's good to know. So, and in the next slot, there is the auto filter I just added, and this is per track. So you have one effect slot for a pad or any of these pads and one effect slot for the whole track. And then in addition to that, you have 2 different effect slots for the master effects. These are your effect possibilities. So, okay, any stuff to mention here? Maybe the sequencer. For the sequencer, you can play your grooves per hand, and you can make use of the MIDI capture button, which is really nice. I will show you later. And if you hold this M means mute. You can hold it, press a track button. Now you muted the whole track. Press it again, it's unmuted. Or you can mute these pads. That's nice for performing. And this principle works on most of the functions, I think. If you press and hold this X button, you can delete stuff. With this arrow button, you can go backwards 1 step. Here you can duplicate, and here you can loop, and here you can record. This plus minus is octave up, octave down. And these buttons, you can navigate through the sequence. Regarding the sequencer, it's not Electron, but I think they will add stuff in the future. So I have this little drum sequence programmed, and let's say I want to add this one. I can either play it per hand. It's an awful sound, but now you can press this capture MIDI button and it's there, even though I was not on record. And let's say this, let's pretend that this sounds good. I want to quantize it. You have 2 options. Either you press the 3 dots here and go to this last button over here, and the whole clip is quantized to 90%. Or you can go backwards and annoying sound, sorry for that. In case you just want to quantize one pad, and that was the addition of the, I also think 1.4 update, I don't know exactly, but now you can hit these 3 dots and hold the quantize button and press the pad you want to quantize. And now only this pad is quantized. And it is quantized to 90% because I set it beforehand that everything which is quantized only got quantized to 90% because I want to keep some groove. And you can do that by going to the settings here, to the 3rd button. And here you can set your overall quantize amount. Mine is set to 90%. You can set it to 100% or maybe for only 50%, I don't know. Now I have this really annoying sound, and let's say I want to move them in the sequence. So if you hold one button and press another button, now it is 3 steps long. Other than that, you can hold a step button and nudge it with these arrow buttons. And here you can create your own groove and nudge steps backwards or forward. One thing I haven't found yet, maybe it is there and I'm too dumb to find it, I don't know, maybe you know it, but it's not possible to dial in a probability amount per step or something you might have on the Electron machines. So there's no probability in the sequencer. At least I don't know where. If you know something about that, please comment that, because I need that and I want that. And if it's not there, I'm sure that they are working on it and maybe it comes in a later update. So yeah, that's the sequencer. Okay, I think that's it for the functions. These knobs are touch sensitive, and yeah, you know that already. If this is not your first tutorial you've seen about the Move, then you know that already. If you have any other questions on how things work, you can hit me up or write a comment. I will answer every comment, as always. Okay, let's create something. I want to add the edge. Yeah. Instant fun. Okay, so the audio which is coming into the audio in of the Move is always hearable. At least I haven't found a way to switch it off. But it's okay for me because I want to hear it. So you can use it as an audio through. And in case of the Edge, it goes directly into the audio in, and I hear it even when I trigger it manually. Okay, if you now want to record it, and one thing I have to mention, the Move is not able to play loops in time. If you have a set, or if you have a tempo set to, like in this case, 128, and you can record loops to, I think, 2 or 3 minutes or something like that, which is fine, but you can play it for 2 or 3 minutes. If it was recorded in the same tempo, then it should be no problem. Like on the Digitakt, you can do that also. But if you want to play it in another tempo, you don't have any sort of time stretch or warp algorithm on the Move. Yeah, so that means if I want to record the sequence from the Edge into the Move and be able to rearrange it or play it in time in another BPM tempo, then I have to record it in another way. So to do that, I will go to track number 2 and I will record the Edge sequence into the drum rack. And to do that, or to sample anything or to record anything, you just go to the track you want to sample in, hit the record button. Now the recording is enabled, but wait, maybe I have to do it while it runs because I want to sample it in time. So, I heard someone saying on YouTube this is called the lazy chop method. I don't know if it's right. For me, it's now the lazy chop method. And if everything had worked out well, then we should hear slices of the Edge in these drum racks. So, in case they won't fit totally fine, you can adjust these slices so that they fit into the rhythm here. So now we can turn off the Edge and play with these slices we just recorded. You know where I'm going? So now you can record that and quantize that. Yeah, like this. Yeah, and now you can hear that the slices I did are not totally fitting into the grid. And now I have to go into the slices and manually adjust the slice start and end point so that they will fit into the pads and into the rhythm. But I don't want to do that now. I just wanted to show you how you can record, how simple you can record, and you can not only record something which is running in time, you can also sing or talk and record it with this microphone, or you can go outside and record some, I don't know, construction workers or any other noise that might happen around you and just sample it in time with this lazy chop method, and you already had the slices which you can work with later. And also with combining the Move Manager, you can, without any cable, just over your Wi-Fi, import these samples. You just record it anywhere in into Ableton or into your computer with no problem. Yeah, I feel like that's not a, a music making video. It's just me talking and pointing on some knobs here. But yeah, you guys wanted some details and I deliver. Yeah, okay, so let's mute that track and let's play with the Edge a little bit more. One thing to mention is I don't know a method where I can slam a delay or a reverb on the incoming audio. So I think as of now it is not possible to process any effects on the incoming audio. Maybe they are working on that, maybe it will come in another update, but at this point it's not possible. Which is unfortunate because it would make a lot of fun to do that, like in the Electro machines, but yeah, who knows. Okay, here comes the next thing. If you want to adjust the levels of the pads or the track or the, I don't know, whatever else, yeah, everything is quite self-explanatory on this device because you hold one thing and then you turn up or down the volume and it says track volume. If you doesn't press anything, it's the overall volume. Oh, now I messed up the gain here. The same is with the pads. If you hold one pad and turn the volume, it gets quieter. So if you want to perform with this, you have to select one track, and as long as you are on the left side of these icons, you are on the track settings or the instrument settings. So hit the track button to select the track, and then you can hold your finger on these knobs. They will tell you what settings are behind it. So this is filter cutoff, and so on and so on and so on, ADSR and stuff like that. If you want to reach the track effects, you have to dial this knob, go to the delay. Here's the dry wet, and all these other knobs are the other functions belonging to the delay. And you have another effect slot for the track, which is a reverb, and you can go to the settings like this. If you now raise the reverb and the delay, and you want to raise the cutoff or play with the cutoff, you have to go back to this first icon to reach the cutoff. There's no shortcut for that. So that performing wise is a little bit, but yeah, okay, you can get used to it. And that's the principle behind it. One thing I want to show you, which I talked about in my last video, which I find really great, because if you use this not as a MIDI master and your main, I don't know, drum computer or something, but you use it as an add-on device with one-shot samples and one or two synthesizers with arpeggiator or, I don't know, note repeat function, stuff like that, just as an add-on to your existing live set. I talked about that already. You can go to the templates here, which I said before are not templates. Instead, these are your Ableton Live sets or projects, you can say. And in any other device I know about, if you want to change the project because your project is full and you want to play another project with another set of songs, you have to hit stop. You have to hit stop. You have to load the new project. You have loading time, everything connected via MIDI will stop also, and then you have to load it, and then you have to hit play in order to reach your new project and to expand the time of playing live. It's the same in the Octatrack, it's the same in the MPC, it's the same quite everywhere I know of, not with the Move. So if you set the same tempo in all of your sets or projects, then you can switch the projects without hitting stop in time. There is a little bit of a lag of the sound, but it's really, if you prepare this break with an external reverb or something, no one will recognize that. And to show you how good this works with combined outboard gear or any other connected MIDI device, which runs in time also. Okay, you see the Edge is running in time. If I now go to the template and change the project, let's see what the sequencer does. It stays in time. You have a little bit of lack of audio when changing the projects or the templates here, or the sets, however you may call it. But yeah, I just changed the project without hitting stop, and I only had a tiny bit of lack of a sound, but that's unrecognizable if you slam a long reverb on it to prepare for the break. But what is great to know is that the sequencer, which is running via USB MIDI on the Edge, stays in time. Yeah. I don't know any other device which can change projects in time while constantly playing. That's just mind-blowing for me. Yeah, okay. So I feel like I already talked too much and a lot about stuff, maybe boring stuff. I hope I was able to clarify some things, and now you know how the Move works. Now I have to play with the Edge a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your Sunday evening, and check out my sample pack, which I'll link you in the description. And yeah, stay creative, stay independent, take care, bye.